It's not surprising that when there's so many injuries, he goes back to default mode and says, hey, Mahopa, I started with you. You can come in and join again the same team. The pool of players that he has built is so strong.
I love what you're saying there, and it just made me think of this. I mean, if you take it that it's the Champions League and the Confederations Cup, you're saying critical. That means that our African players are sharpened by Africa to go and represent Africa. Sharpened on the African continent by the pinnacle of African football to go and represent the African football style on the continental and global stage. Unbelievable. And Daniel, I mean, you were nodding as that conversation was going on. You participated at that level as well. Does that make that difference? Is that what it is that South Africans should look at and say, listen, taking the CAF competitions as seriously as the clubs are taking it now is the secret?
Yeah, look, like Teko and Puma has actually said, it's very important that, you get engaged in such tournaments, CAF Confederation Cup, CAF Champions League. It actually helps the team. And I think the peers have actually done so much, to see teams like Sundowns, Pirates, getting to that level. And it gives these players the confidence, to play against other African teams, being that playing at home and they are not even scared of playing against players who play overseas, So this is something that we actually need to look into and see these players actually playing week in, week out, in continental games to keep the confidence level high.
It is truly a special broadcast. It is a very rare occasion where what has happened today, you witness it, you see it. How long will this last in your memory, Teko, that you were part of the broadcast that saw Bafana qualify for the World Cup after the World Cup you last played in?
I think that's a memory that will last forever. Also, maybe because we were part of the journey that Hugo Bruce took. We were also emotionally invested in those call-ups that he made early on, emotionally invested in coming in third in AFCON, the feeling that the country had. And I always speak about I don't like speaking about my generation. I don't want to be that guy to say, hey, now our generation. But the truth, what I'm trying to say is now we have players that are excited to play for Bafana Bafana. They're excited to wear that jersey. And that's what Coach Hugo Bruce did. He made players envy and, aspire to play for national team. And that's how right now you see all these top players. And also what's important as well, as much as we speak about the PSL players, these are players also that are in top shape, they're in top form, coming in to represent the country. We've seen players playing so well in their clubs, coming to the national team, they choke. Now you have players that are playing in those big tournaments and knowing the stress that comes with those tournaments. When you play such a magnificent game against your Rwanda, a game that you need to win, with all the stress, with all the pressure, you can tap into the vault of the pressure that you've been encountered within the club as well. And also the synergy helps. You have 5 players from Sundowns, you have 5 players from Orlando Pirates, you have players that have been together in the national team. The synergy becomes such an important thing, which is something that other big countries are struggling with. And we need to celebrate the fact that we do have a team that understand each other, and we do have a team that struggled for so many years. Now we're in the cusp of actually becoming great again.
At the age of 73, Coach Hugo Bruce continues to add to his CV. 4 times Belgium Coach of the Year, then took Cameroon to the Africa Cup of Nations victory in 2017, and then in May of 2021 appointed to Bafana Bafana, now qualifies them for the FIFA World Cup. The social media streets, I'm sure, are buzzing. The excitement, I'm sure, is massive. Brighton, Ashley, tell us what is happening back home and across the continent with the 2 superpowers. One of them, South Africa, qualified, the other still with a chance.
I was wondering if we were going to get dance moves out of Brighton. All we needed was a win, apparently.
Listen, but first and foremost, guys, Nigeria, Victor Osimhen, Bobo, everyone, thank you so much, guys. And please do let us know how we can assist to make your playoff spot very comfortable. You want to play Soccer City, Moses Mapira, come to us, we'll support you guys. We are fully behind you. And to Bafana, guys,
man.
can you bring the World Cup, can we play tomorrow against Argentina or Spain? I want to see something. Bring
You can see
with a performance like this.
Come on, Brighton is so excited, and you're just echoing what the entire country is feeling right now. To jump into some of your tweets, there's one here that says, congratulations and well done, Bafana. Thoroughly deserved to go to the World Cup. Came back from a massive setback and came up clutch tonight. Super proud. There's another one here that says, Oaks, it's the first time in my lifetime, emphasis on my, that I will see my country qualify for the World Cup without being a host
This
nation.
application, it's
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We're so distracted here.
Yes.
I think Brighton might be on the first plane out of here. But you're not the only one, hey? Everyone's like, we're booking tickets, we're going now. And like, people are so excited. There's one here that says, at long last, South Africa is off to the World Cup again. And
deserve it.
we're buzzing. And I agree with the fact that tomorrow should be a holiday.
We deserve
That's
it.
all I'm going to say.
And what an honor to be the 7th nation from the African continent to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. You see what I did there? What an honor. You see that? You see what I did
Shout
there?
out to Anna for sponsoring the Social Corner.
Oh, wow. Speaking of qualification, let's confirm the qualifiers from the continent as well as the qualifiers from around the world for 2026. Who can we expect to be facing when Bafana Bafana makes their way across? And also Asmasabi, man. Sewafuna, any one of them, bring them. We are ready. I'm saying that today. Let's discuss that another time. But as we look at it here, those are the qualifiers so far. And when you look at some of those nations, they are winners of the World Cup. When you look at Argentina, they've won it on 3 occasions. Other winners, Brazil's 5 times winners. You've got Uruguay have qualified as well. So South America incredibly strong in terms of the qualifiers that are going through there and the former winners. As far as Africa is concerned, well, Morocco making it into 4th place at the last FIFA World Cup. Then Egypt returning to the World Cup. It has been a while for the Egyptians since they last qualified. And the last time they did make it was in 2018. Algeria, their last qualification, 2014. Ghana's last qualification was the very last Africa Cup, World Cup. They were present and were able to get as far as the knockout stages of that one there. So that is what it looks like around the globe in terms of qualifiers. And yes, Canada, Mexico, USA, they qualify as hosts. And I was already thinking, as we look at CBC going down, guys, can we not just call the US and say, listen, we want Mexico? You know, in 2010, the opening game was against Mexico in South Africa. Can we do Mexico and South Africa opening game of the World Cup for the Mexicans, South Africa? The story will be complete, Pomozo.
Yeah, the story would be complete. I think when you're looking at some of the pictures that we are looking at, there's important players that played important roles. Teko couldn't stop raving about Apolis tonight while we were watching the game. He says he's skating tonight. And I thought his combination with Mbule, Mbata, Mukwena in that midfield was very good. Looking at those African countries that have qualified, you're looking at Morocco, they've raised the bar. They've gotten to the semi-final, first time by an African team. Ghana used to hold that record with the 2010 World Cup. Now Morocco has taken it a level higher. We want to go and join now. It's time for Bafana to get out of that group stage now and take it a level higher and challenge in the knockout stages.
Now, Daniel, let's take a look at what Nigeria is facing in terms of qualification, where Nigeria sit on the log of the top 4 best second-place teams on the African continent. So this is the situation as it stands. And Nigeria, there they are, in 3rd position as far as the best 4. And how it will work ultimately, and there are still 1 or 2 more games that still need to be completed, but if Nigeria finish as it stands right now, they would play against Cameroon in the playoffs in Morocco. If there's a case of still Burkina Faso being able to get ahead of Nigeria, and Nigeria pushed down maybe into 4th position, that would mean Gabon in that playoff situation that is taking place in November in Morocco.
Nigeria again to qualify. I hope as things stands now, if this opportunity prevail itself, Nigeria will be able to pull through again, because a team like Nigeria is needed in the World Cup, because without the African giants, what are you going to watch in the World Cup? Yes, congratulations to Bafana. Now, I can imagine how many times my friend at the social corner that Brighton died 1,000 times and wake up again. You know, but today is hope has come back alive. So without Nigeria in the World Cup, I think it's not going to be too good for Africa to watch. But so they put on the fight this evening, and I hope that this fight continues until we get there.
Well, as the situation is right now, as South Africans, I'm not the official ambassador, and I can't speak on behalf of all South Africans, but I'm going to say this, that given what happened tonight, and the fight that Nigeria put on, and the 3-0 victory that assisted South Africa, we are with you in your belief that Nigeria can get to the FIFA World Cup. And if you do qualify, and you do get through there, your flights through South Africa, I'm sure we can help you with petrol through OR Tambo. We can help. Call us. Call us. We can do something, guys. Cooperation at its highest. And now let's head up to Lagos, where I've got Charles Anazodo, as well as legendary Nigerian striker in Victor Ikpeba, standing by to get a sense of how Nigerians are feeling on a night where Nigeria were brave themselves. 4-0 victory. Did exactly what Nigeria needed to do for their own hopes of qualification. And Charles, I mean, the mathematics is still happening. The calculators are still out. I'm sure you guys are even more aware of what is required still and who might still stand in the way of Nigeria. How is that situation looking? What is still needed? Where are you still looking?
A World Cup, a job well done, yes. And undoubtedly, the Super Eagles will still find an avenue to make it through to America, to the USA, Mexico, and of course, Canada as well. It will not be an easy journey, but it's something that I'm sure with the spirit of Nigerians and the Super Eagles as well, I'm sure that we can make something of it. Victor Lusai is still here in the studio with me. And Victor, when you look at the standings and how we finished, yeah? Those 5 draws that the Super Eagles had really hurt the national team. And I'm just going to go back to the game against Benin Republic, the very first leg where we lost that particular game. If we hadn't, we wouldn't be in this situation now.
I agree with you, Charles. You know, it looks a little bit tired, a little bit disappointed. We would like to see our boys, you know, coming top in our group. But first of all, congratulations to South Africa. It didn't come easily to the South Africans. With 3 points deducted, they had the courage, the mentality, the fighting spirit to get to the finish lines. You know. So for our boys, I think our slow start was our greatest undoing. If you look at this group, you know, and we couldn't do the job against Lesotho at home, drew away to Zimbabwe, lost to Benin Republic in Abidjan. Our form in that period was terrible. We had a manager that left, Pesero, and Finidi came, and there was a little bit of chaos everywhere. And I think that was where we didn't get it right. You know, I think this manager have done a great job, Eric Schelle. 4 wins from 6 and 2 draws. So he has changed a lot in this team so far in a very, very short time. Not a lot of people had faith in this manager. You know, it shows that a good start in a World Cup campaign goes a long way. And I think that is where the South African got it spot on. And it was... and this is the game.
Let's take a look at the goals scored. And a lot of kudos must go to Victor Osimhen for getting a hat-trick in the course of this game. This is the very first of the goals that he scored, and the contribution coming from Samuel Chukwu is undoubtedly magnified.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think this is a result fans back home expected from this team. There's a lot of talent in this team. It's a problem. Sometimes the Nigerian fans cannot understand why they can't be the likes of Zimbabwe. Why can't you go away to Abidjan to pick a point? But during that period, Victor Osimhen was injured. I think we lost Osimhen in those key games that he didn't play. You know? So, but with what we have, I think we should have coped. And I think, you know, this is the second goal coming up. I think today's even game in the US is like a Chikwueze Victor Osimhen show. What a fantastic cross from Chikwueze. We all know that he has those attributes. If he can bring those crosses to our big man, our forward, he will score goals. You know. It will hurt any team in world football.
Oh, I just admiring the goals scored by the Super Eagles, all 4 of them in the course of this particular fixture. Well, you've got to be a little bit worried for Benin Republic. I mean, yeah, we expected to win the game, but the manner in which the Super Eagles won, completely dominating the Beninois, you know, Genaro just might be disappointed.
I think it's justice for African football that Benin didn't qualify for the World Cup with what we just saw earlier today. But we know the limits of this Beninois side. You know, this is Victor Osimhen, hat-trick. Always very dangerous with its head. You know, we know he has what it takes to score goals. You know, so not that all former players have scored an hat-trick for for the Super Eagles. And I think Victor has scored more hat-trick than any other player in the national team. You know? So, but it's great. He has shown that fighting spirit. We know what it takes into this Super Eagles team, you know. But I love the fourth goal too, if we have to see the fourth goal. But you know, Victor, we can't miss from that. We never give him that opportunity.
Well, he comes off the bench, and that's talking about Onyeka, and
Yes.
what a strike that one was. Worthy of a second, a third, and a fourth look as well. Ball just lobbed straight into the 18-yard area, you know, and my goodness, what a strike this one. What a strike. Just take a look at that.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And once again, you've got to give a lot of credit to Moses Simon for his effort as well.
Great cross, you know. It's a technically brilliant goal, Charles. You know, you have to position your body. The cross for Simon was beautiful. This is like those strikers want to see or want to score, and you know, you give credit to a midfielder, Onyeka, bend his legs and the body and just slot in. It's one of the goals of this game we've seen so far in the youth. But it's great congratulations to the boys, and they've been criticized so far. The campaign has not been beautiful, the World Cup campaign, especially the first 4 games, you know. But they've reacted positively in the last 6 games, you know. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the job against Zimbabwe at Oyo National Stadium.
Is it, just to get through this, is it a bit of a worry for the national team? It just doesn't seem to produce the results that we expect that it does, or that it can, when Victor Osimhen is not on the pitch. Is that a worry for you?
So it's worrisome, but I think when you look at the Super Eagles squad, the players we have, even if Victor is injured, others should slot him and do the job, you know. Our goal scoring record was abysmal before this last game, you know, and if you don't score goals, you don't win games. You have to kill games when you score 1, 2, 3. When you are 1 goal up, like what happened against Zimbabwe, you give the opportunity to our opponents a counter situation, and then they score against you, you know. So we need to improve offensively. You cannot just put faith on one player. If Victor is injured today, who will replace him? But though we have the likes of Tulu, we have the likes of Adams Akon, who is doing very well, you know. And you have to look globally at the team defensively, in the middle of the park, and offensively. The talent is there. I think sometimes we have to question the mentality of this player. The consistency has not been there in this World Cup campaign, and this has been one of my biggest worries, was looking at the Super Eagles campaign so far at the World Cup.
But it doesn't get any easier, especially knowing that with the playoffs, you know, it gets a bit more difficult.
Yes.
You know, with the likes of Cameroon, Gabon, you know, so the Eagles will need to be really, really adept, you know, as far as their ability and talent is concerned. But let's just go back to the studio in Rwanda. Thomas, I can imagine that you're still elated, you're still very happy, everyone's jubilating. But on this side, I mean, we also have reason to be joyous as well. I mean, we demolished Benin Republic by 4-0. So there is that slight chance that we just might be on the plane to America to play at the FIFA World Cup as well, don't you think?
Absolutely do think that. Nigeria, we love you. Thank you very much for the efforts today in making sure that you helped yourselves to get to the FIFA World Cup as well. And that window's still open for Nigeria. A lot of very interesting things said there by Victor Peba as well as Charles Anazodo and Daniel. When we talk about Nigeria, and you spoke about it, I mean, Nigeria are a superpower on the African continent. They did not qualify for the last FIFA World Cup. This World Cup was almost a must. We're starting to see the Super Eagles that everyone knows. Is it too late?
Kind of, though, because it was a slow start, so it makes the Super Eagles team struggle. And I agree totally with my senior brother there, Victor Ekpeba, that we struggle from the start. And since Eric Shirley came in, there's been a lot of change, and the players are stepping up. Yes, whether you like it or not, in every team there's that superstar that you have there, which is Victor Osimhen, who has lived up to expectation. It shows the reason why Galatasaray can pay any amount of money to, you know, retain him there and all that. So now we need people that can come up with the shoes like him as well, so that when he's out, like what happened in the other game, then other people can fit in properly.
Pomoto, Daniel's saying that in every team there's a superstar. They've got Victor Osimhen, they've got Lukman, they've got lots of superstars. Yeah. Has that been the case with South Africa? Can we point to a qualification superstar, a player that really did more than others to help South Africa qualify?
I don't think so. I think you need to look at the team. They worked collectively. There's no superstar in this Bafana team, according to me. I see players that are helping each other at all times. When we needed a superstar to keep clean sheet, it was the back four and Ronwen Williams doing the job. When you need somebody to shield the back four, Mukwena was there with whoever he's partnered with. Up top, I think Nkota had his time to shine, Apolis at this time. I think today Mbule also shone. But these are South Africa, you can't really go to one man and say this man. Lyle Foster, when you needed him, he got the goals for Bafana. So I think overall teamwork.
Teamwork has been the essence of Bafana's qualification, and that teamwork would not have been possible without all of you at home, making sure that you came to stadiums, you supported, you pushed, you motivated via the social media streets as well. Bafana have qualified for the World Cup 2026. Will include Bafana. South Africa's flag will be flying amongst the top 48 nations in the world. We're going to continue that conversation. Stay with us right here on your World of Champions. And have now qualified on 7 occasions. Tunisia, 7 occasions going to the World Cup. Egypt, 4 occasions going to the World Cup. The Algerians, 5 occasions. Ghana, 5. And then Capo Verde. Special mention for the little island of 600,000 people. Their very first FIFA World Cup. Coach Pubista has done the job, taking over in 2020. They started their campaign with a 0-0 draw against Angola, lost to Cameroon 4-1 in their opening 3 games, and then went on to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. If there's another story other than Bafana and having 3 points taken with the administrative error that was spectacular, it has to be Cabo Verde.
It has to be them. I mean, nobody saw them qualifying, especially in that group. But from a football point of view, you look at how they performed in the last AFCON. We beat them via penalty. So there was a team that really continued to go on to be qualified, because that becomes an important thing. You need to have a team.
They didn't even qualify for this AFCON coming up.
Yeah.
They won 1 game in qualification out of the 6 matches that they had to play to qualify for Morocco in December. And they're going to the World Cup.
I think when you're looking for a team that peaked at the right time, it will be them. Because as you say, they didn't start the qualifying campaign very well. But once they hit the rhythm, they found consistency, and that's why they're in that plane to America.
It's why we love the game, Daniel.
Yeah, you know, there's always that season in football where you have a bit of surprise coming up, and and that has been the case of Cape Verde in this situation. So far, they've done well from the beginning to now. They've pulled up their sleeve from the Nations Cup. It means they've been building, and they've been working really hard for them to get to where they are now. Congratulations to them, making their country proud. You know, with a small population. You know, it's going to be interesting to watch them in the World Cup.
Can you imagine? I mean, 600,000, probably even a little bit less on the island. And you can't even count the footballers. Most of them are based in Portugal, so they don't even count on the number on the island. Brilliant that they've made it as far as the FIFA World Cup. And we can't wait to see the support as well that they bring to the tournament. But let's move on from that conversation to taking a look at what has happened here as far as the goals are concerned. It starts out on that wide side, Mudiba pushing the ball forward. And once Bafana were pouring forward 5 minutes into the game, it is 1-0 with this sensational strike. He couldn't hit it better, Mbata.
I mean, he sets himself very well. Of course, the overloads on the left-hand side, but also you look at where he is, Mbata. You look at where Mukwena is. It just shows you the dominance that we had, the intention of dominance high up in the pitch. We've known Mbata for having such strikes.
Again, you were saying, I'm starting him. And starting him has resulted in this.
You needed control in that midfield. And to me, if you need control, you need technically gifted players. When you look at Mukwena and Mbata, they're the best positioned to be able to control the tempo. Yes, he goes through the shot. He generates a lot of power with the shot that he takes. But you can question the goalkeeping. I was discussing with Akpay to say body behind the ball. Why did he choose to parry away from his body? That's the mistake he made in Dwari.
Throw in, and from that possession, South Africa pour forward again down that left-hand side.
Yeah, yes, I think it still continues as well from the left-hand side where Mudiba and Opolis were so instrumental. But it helps when you have a lopsided player that is Opolis being able to get into the areas that he really becomes dangerous. And I always say that I think he's the best number 10 that we have in the league right now. But yet again, he finds himself in those type of areas. Look at the ball that he scored. Very clever, using the defender to be able to bend it around him. There was no way that Ntwari can be able to save the ball.
What an assist from Mahopa.
Yeah, I guess there's the last touch before the goal is scored. Mahopa lays it off. But for me, there's still a lot to be done. There's still a lot to be done. Police uses the defender very well, curls it around the defender to get it in the back of the net.
As we continue to talk about Mahopa, there it is. The return of the favor. It was Mahopa setting up Apollos for the previous one. Corner, Apollos, and now Mahopa. Nothing the keeper can do. Some may ask, I did ask this to Daniel. I said, Daniel, can Ntwari do more here? What do you said no.
In some cases, probably you can be lucky to make such save. But again, it was a flash because you can see the ball was already dropping and coming in between players with his head and the ball that low. Sometimes it's very, within the split of second that could happen. And, as a goalkeeper, you're trying to adjust yourself to the low ball from the first post back to the middle. So that can actually happen sometimes. But in most cases, you hope to save the ball. But it wasn't that good day for Ntwari. And I hope he's going to learn a lot of lessons from here.
There you go. Celebrations on the benches, celebrations up in the VIP stands. The president of the Football Association, the Minister of Sport, dignitaries, ecstatic that Bafana have gone to the World Cup because, guys, qualifying for a World Cup, it means so much, not only to the players who are going, but to the development of football, I think, in the country for generations to come.
Yeah, and I think we've been in that process. I mean, we have DDC players that are participating. Kota now, one of the products as well. Mbata, one of the products as well. So there's a lot of players that are really came from a development side to be able to come and be the national asset. So we've been in that process, and we've been saying for so many years that when are we going to start doing what Morocco has done? In terms of putting development, putting finances into the development of football, and we're slowly doing that. And those are the results that we get. But also it helps when you have a coach as well, when you have the players, when you have the teams like your Pirates, your Mamelodi Sundowns, your Stellenbosch that are actually participating in.
But when I talk about development, I really mean that when you're a youngster now, watching your local hero, your South African player, playing at a World Cup, the inspiration that comes from that to then say, I want to do that. I want to be at the World Cup one day. That's what's about to happen for young South Africans. And from every one of the countries that qualify on the African continent, that is what happens to your young footballer. They want to be you.
You don't have to look far. A couple of weeks ago, we were waking up at 2 in the morning to watch the World Cup. That was the under-20 World Cup that we were watching. The likes of Likaku, Vilakazi, those players were playing at the under-20 World Cup. Now, the next level for them is to graduate and play in the Olympics, is to graduate and play at Bafana. Already having qualified for the under-20 World Cup, it's a step in the right direction. Who knows? Maybe South Africa can do what Donna is speaking about. Let's build for the World Cup. Take 2 from that under-20 World Cup squad. Take with, not for the experience for this World Cup, but for the 2030 World Cup. Then you're already preparing. You plan better like that. We have seen Brazil do that with the likes of Ronaldo Original. He did not. He went
Original. The original one. Ronaldo Lima, number 9 for Brazil. Yes. Which was the first World Cup you remember watching?
Sure, I can. Sure. TV
Do you remember the first World Cup you remember watching?
I can remember.
You guys, what? How come I remember vividly.
I remember the one that Roberto Baggio missed the penalty, 1990. Yeah, 94.
That was the USA.
The USA, yeah. I watched that one, yeah. That was the first one.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Mine was the one just before that. Italia.
Yeah, but you when we grew up, when ukulele.
Italia 90.
Thank you. Tina kumele se next over.
On that note, the man of the match. Let's find out who it is and what his views are on South Africa qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Man of the match, what a performance for you individually, but what does this mean for you as a player and as a team?
Well, first of all, we have to give thanks to the group, for fighting today to get you know. And for me as a player, I just want to improve, you know. And hopefully I will be here hopefully I will be always in the national team, you know, and I will continue working on. But today, thanks to the team for fighting today, we get out to the World Cup.
Apollos, you did it. You can hear the fireworks here in Mabela. What's the message to all the fans in South Africa?
Thank you for supporting us, you know. World Cup, we're coming.
All right, thank you so much and enjoy it.
Now, the coach has done the business. There it is. Aswan Apollos is the man who was the man of the match, making sure that South Africa qualify for the 4th time for a FIFA World Cup. Coach Hugo Bruce has done that with his young bunch of players. His belief, his bravery. How does he feel? Has it been worth it?
Coach, at full time, what was going through your head?
Oh, 1,000 things, I think. Yeah, it was close, and after the game of Friday, we got an uppercut, but you see how strong this group is with a few days, and then again the mentality is there, and you see from the beginning of the game today, they wanted to win that game. They wanted to have no regrets after the game, that, for example, Benin should have lost the game, and we didn't do what we had to do. So, yeah, that is this team, and that's why I'm so proud of it.
Coach, congratulations. I saw you enjoying the fireworks right after the game. But can you put in words what this means to you, to the players, and to South Africans?
You know, World Cup is the highest level. You can compare it with nothing. And those who were there, they will tell you this is really what every football player or every coach wants to be. So when you have the opportunity to be there, then you have to do everything, but everything to achieve it. And we achieved it, and it's very important also for the players. So they will have another experience on the highest level of football. And it's good for South African football because, okay, 2010, but you were host, so you didn't have to qualify. But now after our bronze medal on AFCON, and being there next year in America, you will see automatically the value of South African football will be higher. And also for the players, the interest to players will be higher also. So it's good for everybody.
Coach, finishing 3rd at the last AFCON last year and qualifying for the World Cup, where do those two measure up in your coaching career?
Yeah, those are the highlights. I was in the World Cup. It is fantastic. I won an AFCON. It is fantastic. I was 3rd with South Africa on AFCON. And now today the qualification. Yeah, that's top 4. But don't ask me to choose what is one, because really all 4 were for me a fantastic experience.
What can you tell the fans who are watching on television across South Africa, across the world, but also the ones who came here today?
I think those people were waiting a long time for that. And we all said it the previous days also. We can't lose that. We can't afford ourselves not to be qualified. There's an whole nation who was waiting for that qualification. And when you're so close and it should not succeed, then it's very bitter, very, very bitter. So we all knew that, and yeah, you see the joy with the people. You see how they're coming to the stadium, how they're supporting us. When I came here 4 years ago, there was nobody in the stadium. It was very difficult for us to play in an empty stadium. Now today, everyone is behind us. And this is a very, very nice feeling.
And Coach, lastly, what are you going to tell the players in the dressing room today after here?
Nothing. We are just going to sing and dance, I think.
Have you learned some South African songs?
No, but I sing it phonetically. So I don't know the words. But I know the A, and then, okay, it will be a great night.
Thank you so much, Felicitations, Coach. All the best.
Thank you.